Hello, my name's Sam Camerata. I'm 36 years old, heavy smoker.
Hey, I'm Mikey.
Hello, Mikey, welcome.
Thanks for cutting my hair today.
Thank you for being on the show. I heard you are quite the musician from Jason here, the producer of this show. Haircut Talk Show.
Mikey?
It's very cool.
Executive producer. So Mikey, what is your full name, please?
My name is Mikey Freedom Heart.
Mikey?
I am quite the musician, as it turns out, I guess. Just in terms of hours of the day spent, probably.
Well, thank you for fitting in this haircut.
I actually had to, man. New Year's is coming up, and I want to look sharp. You know, my family's here. I got to make appearances all over town.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think I have a future in local politics, so.
We need some good...
Oh, no. I intend to be as corrupt as possible. So I need to straighten that out.
Well, it couldn't be any worse than stealing from the library, so. Local as far as local musicians go.
It's hard not to steal from the library. I read a stat that the kid who, the New York Public Library, I live in New York now.
Oh, okay.
And wherever else. The New York Public Library issues a amnesty period at the end of each year. And the kid with the most late fees this year was actually pretty low. It was like $1,700 in late fees. So I was impressed that that's as bad as it got in New York City this year for delinquent book rentals.
What
good.
Sam is referring to is Irvin Mayfield.
What happened?
Oh, you don't know any of this?
Oh,
No,
Irvin Mayfield embezzled.
This has been a gossipy year.
Oh yeah, Irvin Mayfield
this isn't
is
gossip.
indicted on 17 or 19 counts of embezzlement.
Oh, how many counts of bad tattoo?
Then we're talking, it's in your face.
Oh yeah, and that's annoying. Well,
Unless-
is this it? I was just enjoying the process.
Oh, I mean, no, I'm gonna clean up your neck, but do you want me to go shorter?
What would happen if we did go shorter?
We could see.
Let's see.
All right.
Let me
Yeah, a
just
little bit
stop-
less.
Let me just stop you right there and say if I wouldn't be chasing the Brad Pitt look if I. You don't look anything like him.
That's why I think it's a safe reference that I'm not afraid
You
to
have a
make.
nice strong jaw like
Thank
he
you.
does,
Thank you.
and that maybe is what you're liking about that picture. You know, like
I think what I like about it is the fact that Brad Pitt's real good looking.
yeah, he is. He's super good looking. Mikey, I think you're a good looking guy, but we're talking Brad Pitt's upper 10 percentile.
He's on the first percent. This guy's a classic beauty. He's like in the
You're
first
saying a 1 percentile?
Yeah, he's top beauty. Like, if you look at Brad Pitt hair, the guy's worn as many hairs as a wig shop, and he looks great every time. So it's a fair reference.
Yeah, well, I'm not mad at him.
Well, I like this. I like the idea that I feel like now I'm having a bit of an idea for a spin-off where it's like your friend. Okay, it's a show where friends say who they think their ideal celebrity lookalike is, and then you intervene to let them know how they are not like that.
I want you to know this is the first piece of material that I think will make it into Haircut Talk Show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we haven't even really started. Honestly.
Okay, let's start. How do we start?
Okay, one more.
It's a Haircut Talk Show.
I want to actually, I know it's odd for me to say this, but I'd like to discuss some of your accomplishments. I know that that's not
Career
normally
highlights.
what I want to do with it. But today,
Yeah, for the first time.
For the first time, it's, well, when you compile them all together in a quick haircut, it's pretty impressive, Mikey.
Thanks, Jason. Wow.
Like
This
I
could,
said,
this
though,
could taint our relationship forever.
that's why I don't normally get into anything like this.
Yeah, you're right. We should talk with Sam about it.
So, Jason tells me you're a musician. What instrument do you play?
I play a handful of different instruments, man. Like, I think anyone in New Orleans knows about that. Like, sort of a little bit of everything. I mean, I try and play guitar and keys and guitar-like instruments mostly, but
Okay.
I've definitely had weird phases of my life where I only played banjo or I only played pedal steel, so I can access those. And I've been playing the saxophone, and what I've learned about the sax is basically,
Which one?
well, the alto, because I suck. And
You know what? We only take 2 Haircut Talk shows, and on both Haircut Talk shows, the guitarists,
yeah,
were former alto sax players.
really?
Yes.
Well, I'm a future alto sax
Right,
player.
I know. Okay, basically what I'm saying is the alto sax has made a cameo in both episodes.
Well, because everyone agrees that the alto sax, we call it by its original name in my house, the bendy sex whistle. Women love it. The guitar's over, man. People see you holding guitar and they say, "Oh, he's a guitarist."
Yep.
You know, they see you holding a sax and they're like, they want to know. First of all, they want to hear Careless Whisper, so you get that out of the way. Okay, there's definitely a class of musician that kind of do my thing in touring. I mean, I produce and write, and I like to do all that stuff, but I also tour with bands, and I've done that a bunch with some plenty of not known and some well-known bands.
Which one was your favorite?
Ooh. Well, I'm currently on tour with this band Bleachers, and I do shows with my own band, it's my own project called Ex-Reyes. And I think
And you
that
play what in those bands?
in Bleachers, it's sort of set up a bit like a pit orchestra or something. Like the main guy who is in the center stage sings lead and plays guitar, and then he's flanked by me and another guy who are both like sort of multi-instrumentalists. That other guy focuses more on the saxes and reeds and keys, and I switch between like keys, play piano and bass, and everyone in the band sings, and there's two drummers, so they kind of like...
Two drummers?
They do like a bit of a, sometimes Allman Brothers or sometimes Blue Man Group situation with like samples and stuff, and it's that band's pretty fun to play
And that's
with
which
live.
band?
That's called Bleachers.
The Bleachers.
Yeah, and then my band Ex-Reyes is obviously always fun because it's my thing, so I can be however weird I want to be.
Yeah, you're right.
It's just fun to do. So I have a good balance right now, but man, every day is a new day, and if I'm playing music, I'm having a good time, you know? So
yeah, you're right.
I've had a really great time touring with basically everybody. All the experiences are different. The other bands are played with a 90s band, the Cranberries, for the better part of last year.
Wait, the one from Northern Ireland?
They're from Limerick, actually.
Oh, where's that?
It's in Ireland, but not the north. It's in the Irish part of Ireland, as it were. The officially.
Oh, they were singing about the northern.
So I think that
Ireland. Yeah,
the
right.
song "Zombie" came out at the time of that. A lot of conflict, and so that's what they're talking about, and it actually had a kind of a renewed resonance. I played with this dude, Albert Hammond Jr., and his solo stuff. And
oh, yeah?
made
From the Strokes?
Yeah, from the Strokes. That was really, everything kind of had its own place. Like, Albert was really fun because that band, I only played guitar live.
Cool.
And he taught me to sort of like, I learned a lot from Albert in terms of sort of like, not shying away from the fact that you're playing a rock show. Like, I don't know. I feel like coming up, when I did, like, the style of indie rock was kind of like, oh, sorry for playing so loud. And then when I met with Albert, he was like windmilling the guitar and jumping around. He's like, my knees hurt from dropping to him. And I was like, this is cool.
What are some of the things that got you into music?
Well, I started playing music early. I started doing classical piano lessons because I guess because my parents got me into it, and they were always listening to music around the house. And from Louisiana, you play music in church. That was probably pretty early, like classical lessons and weird competitions mixed with like
competitions.
Yeah, I used to do like as a kid, you like develop a set of classical repertoire at a different difficulty level, and you do these like competitions that start at regional levels and go up to state. I think a lot of states do them. They do them in Louisiana, and that was the structure of how I was taught. So like, I feel like I learned a lot from coming up in that very structured environment and then going to church or going over to friends' houses and like screwing around with music. All of a sudden, like, I was like, oh wait, I have some tools at the ready from learning it, in this specific environment. And then it was kind of really exciting letting it run free, I believe, like in that. It was really a church scenario initially where it was like, I saw someone play Eruption by Van Halen, and I was like, oh my God, like, I
on
have
guitar?
to play guitar.
So church, huh?
Yeah, that's probably the first scenario where I was like in like a band.
Cool.
Where you like play from your heart, and it was cool. Like I remember learning stuff about being in a band at that time. Like that, like one of the concerns was like, how do we end the song?
Yeah.
And I remember like being like 11 years old and thinking like, oh yeah, like normally you just read it till it's over. Like I guess we have to figure out as a group how we end. and that was really cool, man. And so just starting there, and then playing on the street actually I met actually Michael Magro and Ben Polser in Washington Square Park in New York, and I was like, what the hell is this madness? And at that time they were busking just the two of them.
Oh wow.
And so I started busking with them in New York, playing
Trumpet
New
and
Orleans
clarinet.
music, and they were like, this holiday season we're gonna go down to New Orleans where it's real warm and we're gonna play on the streets. This was in 2006.
Yeah.
And I was a free agent, and I was like, that sounds great. I'll stay at my aunt's house, you know. So it was really fun, man, and I learned a lot about like that.
Oh really? So you were down here then, huh?
Yeah, and I learned that like there was like this weird way of getting, you know, there was other ways to live and play music as a living for your life outside of like stardom or massive wealth. And I was like, oh, and that sort of redefined my entire approach.
Well, happiness, the thing I crave. For your love, I'll be your slave. You gotta give me some. Oh, give me some. Can't you hear me begging? You gotta give me some. Well, hey, Miss Jones, put your teeth. I want a piece of your good old me. You gotta give me some. Yes, give me some. Can't you hear me bleeding? You gotta give me
Actually, one of my favorite things that used to happen in New Orleans is that a friend of ours, a great bass player named Robert Snow, used to always try and out-joke. I don't know if he still does this, but I used to try and out-joke this guy at the gig. And one time he told me a joke that indoors, because of the way he told it to me, not because of the content of the joke, and so I just like to relate that. He said, hey Mikey, what has 4 legs, is green, and when it falls out of a tree, it kills you? And I said, what is it, Rob? He said, a piano. No, wait, a pool table. And I was like, that's the joke. You did it.
He made that. He's a genius. He made that joke funny.
I was so impressed.
Shout out to Rob
Yes,
Snow.
Rob.
Shout
Rob
out,
Snow.
Robert.
The beat of the city, Robert Snow.
Yeah, I'm in a band, the Melotons, with Robert.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Melotons, man. That's awesome.
Since we're talking about hair.
Okay, Sam, how often does someone come in and ask for the Caesar?
A lot, actually.
Really?
Yeah, you just you shave the top little horseshoe there, and then the old, fade up the back. You're ready to roll.
I thought Caesar had the little curly cues in front, like a
Oh, you
discreet,
can
like,
leave a little curly
Like
curly
Caesar.
cue.
I've been actually asking for the Cesar.
the Caesar, the dog whisperer.
Hey,
The Cesar.
you said the curly Q, but you said curly crew, which
Curly
would be
crew?
a good like haircut crew for Mardi Gras.
Hey, man, listen, we're flattered by your membership, and Lord knows, Mr. Pitt, you're a good-looking guy, but this is the curly crew. We're some of the great curly heads of our time.
Hey,
Yeah.
Tom Hanks used to have curly hair.
What happened?
Well, I think they gave him new hair, and it wasn't curly.
You know, we're on
Myself.
our 4th Tom Hanks right now, y'all. You heard the Paul is dead theory?
Uh-huh.
Well, Tom Hanks, it's like the 4th one.
We're on the 4th Tom Hanks.
During Castaway, two Tom Hanks died.
The warmth of your love's like the warmth from the sun. This will be our year, took a long time to come. Don't let go of my hand, now the darkness is gone. This will be our year, took a long time to come. And I won't forget the way you held me up when I was down. And I won't forget the way you said, darling, I love you. You gave me faith to go on. Now we're there, we've only just begun. This will be our year, took a long time to come. you smile, smile for me, little one. This will be all year, took a long time to come. You don't have to worry, all your worried days are gone. This will be all year, took a long time to come. And I won't forget the way you helped me up when I was down. I won't forget the way you said, darling, I love you. You gave me faith to go on. Now we're there, we've only just begun. This will be all year, took a long time to come. Now this will be all year, took a long time to come.
And then I also have my own music project, which is music that I write from and really for myself. It's also super based on collaboration, but I kind of approach it in a specific way of like making records in a way that a lot of my favorite records were made, like Pet Sounds or Revolver or
You
Voodoo.
like those records?
Wow.
Voodoo by D'Angelo, Dirty Mind by Prince. I know it's shocking.
You like
I love those records. Yeah.
Hey.
Curtis Mayfield.
What a hot take.
Yeah. I used to be like one of those guys who was like, I really like this Latin record by this super obscure, I got it on vinyl in a market in South America. Like, that guy's cool, right? But I also like being the guy who's like, hey, Little Red Corvette is just a good song. Like, it's good. It's good to remember that those really good songs are good.
Yeah.
And you can you can look towards them for inspiration,
Yeah, like there's a reason that it captivated our entire country.
Right. You shouldn't be ashamed to be like, I really like the Beatles.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's
at all.
nothing
I
wrong.
agree.
Oh, there's people that pride
whole-
themselves on not liking the Beatles.
I know. Well, there's all sorts of, and that's fine. I'm not going
It's
to argue
like,
with anybody.
okay,
I'm
you're
just talking
so
about.
cool.
Yeah, I grew up with jazzer guys who they all thought they were like that. Like, don't like pop music, it's stupid. And I
Yeah.
was like, you guys could learn a lot from pop music. You could learn a lot from being able to present your ideas in a shorter time frame that's more palatable to
Yeah.
more humans.
Yeah. Songs and composition for me as a musician are like a really great way to learn about melody. You're using it as a it's like nutrition for your melodic sense, So anyway, that's kind of nerdy stuff.
If and when the laws of man is not just equal and fair, then the laws of nature will come and do her thing. She does not think, she just rectifies. She just comes to balance as a book. Y'all see my point. Y'all see my point. We're just a biological state.
Nowadays, that's where I'm geared. So I'm geared towards like also writing songs a lot, and having that be a part of the creativity, like improvising, collaborating, performing, and also just constantly writing.
So when you write a song, do you like have a song you want to like a cover song you like? So you want to make a song kind of like that song, or do you just like come up with like a whole blank slate?
I think it's really fun to start from zero, especially with your people. If you're with people you don't really know, you haven't established a working process with. But usually I try and have the tools available to make the road by walking quickly enough that, you start from a reference that's literally how you woke up feeling that day. Oh, I woke up and I listened to this record and it struck me and I'm feeling that way. So let's start from zero now, and you start sort of playing, and you start, I think music, teaching yourself to play, teaching yourself to write, or becoming better at any of those things, for me has been a process of just being decisive and making a call, making small call one at a time, and that sort of just informs your future as a musician. Oh, I really like this record, I want to learn how to play it, or I want to learn how to play this guitar solo or something. And then just making the decisions is what forms the product,
Yeah, you gotta put yourself out there, right? Do you feel like you use all the songs you write?
No, I think that part of it is, I think part of a goal for me personally, just the way that writing and playing and music works, is to remove any kind of like preciousness about about the thing that you're working towards, or I don't know if there's a better word. I don't know if preciousness is a word or something.
Also, your folder on your computer, there should be 20, 30 songs that you ain't gonna finish and are good, but just don't have a place or whatever. You know, that's normal.
Exactly.
When you make a lot of good work, there's just gonna be extra work that was there.
I don't know. I don't want to be like, oh, I really feel like I put a bunch of time into this, so I have to use it.
I agree, dude. I have a song. It's got a 20-piece orchestra on it by now.
Yeah.
I still have no idea where it's gonna go or why it's gonna go. I've spent thousands of dollars on this thing.
Yeah,
it's a total waste of money at this point.
So this
actually, but it still gives me joy, and it's, you know, like, I learned things in the process of making this that I have taken to other projects and wailed on and got paid a lot of money.
Right, so there's something that you're earning from it that's aside from just the product. And the more of those you create, the more of that capital you get, which is cool. And that brings me to a point that I've thought about a lot recently as like, you know, I'm pretty deep in, basically Jerzak and I, whomever, I know that the two of us I know that I'm a lifer in this shit. So I'm like, what does a life in music look like? You know, I want to listen to the biggest lives in music. You know, I want to like...
Well, you're going to be taping a haircut talk show at some point.
Exactly. If you're trying to be the greatest musician in the world, you're going to start at a haircut talk show. And so that's why...
I would say haircut talk show is not even a start. You're like... That's
I'm already there.
on the way up.
I'm cresting. Yeah. Basically, when my PR person called me and set up this opportunity.
They said, there's a little something you're going to be doing.
Bring weed. As far as I can tell, a lot of jobs, like people always say, oh, you work a 9 to 5. Like the way that works is like you're putting in work towards the point where you get to retire, and then that's the moment where you're like, aha, like I set my charges, blow the shit up and do what I want. My thing is like as a musician, you're not working towards any point where you want to stop playing music.
No, right.
You're not like, if I just play enough music now, I won't have to ever again. It's like, there's little parts of the job that you don't want to have to do always. But you're basically like, I'm working towards being better at this every day till the fucking end. I'm gonna call the middle era. If you're making it as a bluesy musician in the middle age era, then that's what I would like to tender is a commodity blues man. Because the world needs blues. For some reason, the world demands a base level of blues.
You're right.
Ever since the beginning it was born, the people have needed blues at least a little, and often a lot, in their music. And so these bluesmen roam the world.
Just
selling
wandering.
It. Well, I was with a commodity blues man in a cab to the airport in Poland after Cranberries.
Commodity blues man.
And this is where I thought of this idea, and it's funny that you're bringing it up. I was like, this guy is a commodity blues man. Like, he married a European woman, and he was like, yeah, I got my merch. He was basically just describing his racket, which was like, I live in the English countryside, overhead's low, got a family, and I cruise around Europe, travel's not that expensive, and I play blues, and I'm good at it, and that's what I do. And so I was leaving a Cranberries performance at a festival where he had participated in a bid for the Guinness Book of World Records, most guitarists in one place at a time.
Oh, man.
Which I guess he traveled to on his own dime. They played Hey Joe. And all of us in the Cranberries were invited.
To play along, did you?
Well, I wanted to.
Of course you did.
Of course I do.
It's so funny. We're shitting on it a little bit, but then I say, well, did you play in the... And you're like, oh yeah, I definitely wanted to.
It's like if Spinal Tap asks you if you want to play Big Bottom with them.
Yeah,
yes,
right.
you're gonna do it. Are you kidding?
Don't be ridiculous that if you see the Guinness Book of World Records record for most guitarists in one place at a time, that you're not gonna say, I was there.
Yeah, well, I was one of them.
Did anybody bring an acoustic?
Yeah, and it was in a weird part of Poland. I mean, it was a synchronicity. That was like, this is a great opportunity.
Did they get it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was in Wroclaw.
Hey, but what
How many?
that
How
you
many
couldn't
was
participate?
It was lazy.
You don't want to bring the gear, right? You don't want to bring the gear.
Yeah, exactly. Like I remember when I had a crappy, like cheap or free piano, the 64 keys I had forever, and I made a bunch of
The painted piano?
yeah, the painted
Still have
piano. It lives down the hall at an indie rocker's house. But I purchased a U1, a Yamaha U1, which is a more like professional level piano, in a super sketchy way, by like some mobsters who brought it up in a box truck from Augusta, Georgia.
They stole it from Augusta.
Yeah, it was super sketchy. Like I wired the guy $3,000, which is a great deal for that piano. So I was like, all right, I love a deal. And so I wired it to him, and it was really weird. Like the text messages were going green and stuff. So I'm like, all right, this guy doesn't even have an iPhone, so I don't even know if he's received my messages. Okay. And so I look him up, to kind of vet him, and I found out that he's faced federal charges before. But on importing ivory to refurbish pianos. So I was like, this guy's a criminal, but he's my kind of criminal.
Yeah.
He's like refurbishing pianos. Like he's like, whatever,
criminal.
screw the government, I'll make this thing beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want the tusks to have been squandered, for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
But I respect the move in a way.
yeah,
I
I
respect
don't
it.
want anything killed.
I don't want anything killed or hurt, but I do respect that his main goal, as I can identify it, in violating the federal law, was to refurbish a piano. That's the part that I think.
For argument's sake, let's just say that the elephant was already dead or was stillborn, and it already
dead.
had tusks, full grown.
That's definitely what had happened. So I asked him about it when he showed up, and though he spoke little of my language, we figured this one out. Actually, what we did figure out was pretty coincidental and funny. So he's like, basically the racket is, oh, you got to wire the money to me quick, because my buddy's coming in the box truck tonight, and I could slide the piano on there, and he can bring it up to New York for you by next week. Free shipping.
Slide it.
And I was like, free shipping of a piano is unheard of. Even from my house to yours, it's a thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, deal's a deal, money's wired. The guys eventually do show up in the box truck, and they haven't slept, and they look like henchmen. And there's cigarettes. It's just disgusting in the car. They're like clearly
Coffee
just been.
cups.
They've been. Here's a verb I learned from a tour bus driver. They'd been hammer pushing it from Augusta to get to New York and they open up the door, and a pit bull starts barking at me in front of my house, and he's like, like I was like, oh, okay, this is insane. He opens up the back. There's only one piano in there. There's all manner of other stuff. And the two guys wordlessly loaded onto my loading dock, and we go in the little freight elevator, we're going up, and the guy goes, he's like, New York. I used to live in New York. And I was like, cool, nice city. He was like, do you know the Strokes? And I was like, yeah, actually, I play with, at the time I was playing with Albert. I was like, yes, I play with Albert from the Strokes. He's the guy with the big hair. And the
He
guy's
should
like,
be on Haircut Talk Show.
yeah,
The
definitely.
Curly Crew.
Yeah, he's in the Curly Crow. And the piano mover guy goes, I moved the piano for Albert to his home. Same piano. And I was like, you did? He's like, yes. And then he moved the piano into my home and left. And that was it. I was like, wow, that was pretty psychedelic. Like two criminals just appeared from my past, ostensibly, and gave me a gift. When I touched that piano with you could play a C chord, and you're like, oh, listen to that thing, an instrument. Piano as an idea is something that you learn how to play with crappy keyboards, but when you play a nice piano instrument, it's like, oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, our friend just is in school right now in Boston learning how to tune pianos.
Oh, she's awesome,
Yeah.
I saw her up in Boston. I was like,
Oh, Thorns, you know her?
yeah.
Cool.
I was picking her brain about the piano tuning biz, man. Because I like the idea
basically to learn to be a piano tuner, you're learning to be a crazy person forever. You know, once you're like, I figured it out, I can make a living being a piano person, you're like, I figured out a way that I can be crazy forever. Which is what I'm trying to figure out. Like, I'm like, if you're a musician, you're making a little bit of money, like getting paid to play at the moment. It doesn't necessarily mean you can be crazy forever.
Yeah.
You know? The piano tuners, they got it in the bag, man. It's very interesting. So you start, because the whole thing is learning how to make the thing consistently imperfect. And each instrument is its own, whatever. This is nerdy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it is sort of nerdy, but we cover that kind of.
You cover that kind of material.
that on the program. All right, hey, let's wrap it up. What do we say to end this thing?
Well, thank you so much
Man,
for being
thank
on the
you.
show, Mikey.
Thanks for having me.
So nice
for the
to meet
haircut.
you.
Jason said I need to tip you, but he suggested $100.
$100, 100 yen, whatever.
He's
no,
gonna handle it for me.
whatever.
Hank's years, I think.
Thanks so much for having me, man. This was super fun and amazing.
You got any music of you playing that piano? Did you mic up that piano in your house and try to record it ever?
Oh yes, I've got all sorts of recordings.
Cool.
Playing
Maybe
the piano.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you guys some custom music for Haircut Talkshow.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome,
no,
man.
yeah,
We
yeah,
can use
yeah.
it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm
Hey,
a huge
thanks for
fan.
being around. This is my buddy Mikey Freedom Heart, and you can check him out probably at MikeyFreedomHeart.com, I would imagine.
No, that's not true.
And Mikey Freedom Heart.
X-Reyes.
That's hard to say.
E-X space R-E-Y-E-S.
Yeah.
Like a bodega.
Yeah.
Think of it that way.
Spell it again.
E-X as in ex-girlfriend. Reyes as in kings. Ex-kings.
R-E-Y-E-S.
Yes, sir. I know it's a hard name, but what's in a name?
Yeah.
I wanted it to sound like a bodega from my neighborhood because I like to think of making the music that way. Come and get it, baby. If someone throws on a little Sieg, turn the page, there's no way you're not going to take at least a second and think, here I go again. You know, no matter what you're doing, you're like at the checkout for a Walgreens, you're buying toothpaste, Sieg comes on the radio and you're thinking, here I am, baby.
Oh, thrown like a stone from the day you knew you had to go. Not rolling home, you got locked out in the dirty rain. A minute late, it's all so far, so close. Do you have a plan? Can you forget about it? I don't wanna try to get between you and your knees. I recognize your love is spoken for. Didn't wanna waste your time and go on asking you to wait. I'm ready now, but I'm too late. Oh, thrown like a stone from the day you knew you had to go. He knows the truth, but he would never give us bad news. A minute late, it's all so far, so close. The news would strike me dead, so I won't listen to it. Since you work so hard, guess that makes you a superstar. Since you work so hard, guess that makes you a superstar. You work so hard, guess that makes you a superstar. Since you work so hard, guess that makes you a superstar. I recognize your love is